All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your co-host, Chris.
I'm your co-host, Garrett. This is the Albuquerque Daily, and today we're going to be talking about discrimination in the workplace.
I personally have a connection to discrimination in the workplace because my own mother had faced discrimination. When my mom moved from Mexico to the U.S., she faced many situations where she was discriminated against for her nationality and the language she was speaking. She married my father, and she later got a job at a hotel here in Albuquerque as a room keeper, where she cleaned and such. There were several instances where the manager at the hotel got mad at my mom because she was just speaking Spanish to like another coworker and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, my mom would just come home like in like a horrible mood and just like, and you could really see that it was taking a toll on her because she wanted to be part of the United States and she wanted to be part of like this culture, and everyone says that they love here and like because this is like United States, everyone wants to be part of it and such. And like just the fact that this manager was just discriminating her, just it broke her heart and like she didn't know what to do. And like she just kept on going and like every day she'd have to deal with it, but she just kept on pushing and like no matter what she did, like it just wasn't good enough for the manager and just it was like kind of like a shitty thing, to be honest. Like we didn't know what to do. Like my dad didn't know what to do because at that time like we were also like he was in work and my mom was in work and like they had me as well, and it was just like a tough situation for my parents. And like just to bring that home every day to where your newborn child is like that, it's just like a shitty thing, like I said. And she didn't know what to do. And like later, finally, like fast forward in her life, she still works at that hotel and she's now currently an HR manager, which is one of the highest positions that she could possibly get. And like it's just great to see her that she still works at that hotel today and like she's still been with them even though the fact that that manager was discriminating against her, it was just a shitty thing. And like I'm glad and I'm proud to be I'm proud to call her my mom, and it's just a great thing as well. And that was just like another example that I have as well is Francesca Perez, who is a restaurant worker here in California. She was being discriminated against for speaking her language to another coworker as well, and it was just like a shitty thing as well because she literally faced the same exact things that my mom went through. And like just to not be able to speak your own language in your own like circumstances and in your own workplace is just a horrible thing. And like it's just a horrible like
situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You should be able to be comfortable, like, in your safe space, in your sanctuary.
Exactly. And, like, I don't know, because I know you've had experience as well, and, like, I don't know. What's your opinion on this? What do you think?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it's very brave of you to share something like that with everyone. I think just having something personal like that happen to you and being able to relate as something is crazy like this just gives you even more the right to be able to speak out about it. So that was good, bro. But I personally did too have the same experience. It's kind of the same situation in the workplace. This wasn't directed towards me, but I kind of got caught up in the middle of it. So basically, I work in a small Mexican restaurant down in Bosque Farms called Sopas. And at this time, I was a busser.
I heard they got good food, dude.
Dude, they do have good food,
really?
Actually. Yeah, we gotta go try.
Dang. All right.
Sure.
I gotta try some. You gonna hook up a discount?
Yeah,
right. Let's go.
Anyways, so I'm at the restaurant. I'm bussing. I noticed my server Enrique. He's in my section. He's currently a junior at UNM. He's working in my section. So this couple walks in. He grabs menus, takes them to our section, sits them down. So me, energetic, polite as always. I walk up, give him their drinks, and he sits them down. And once he finally leaves, I walk up and, I'm just getting them situated. And they're like, "Can we get another waiter?" And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, like, what's the reason? Just like curious. And they're like, well, we want someone who speaks English. And
what?
So
in New Mexico.
In New Mexico, dude.
Really?
Yes.
Where the minorities are the majorities. Here.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. And it feels weird, like experiencing something like that, like not really being able to know how to react. Not necessarily like frozen, but just like at a loss for words, like you don't really know how to do it. And so it ends up putting me like in a weird situation too, because then I have to go to Enrique and I have to be like, hey, you know, these people over
it
here,
puts
like,
you in an awful situation to where you're having to tell your coworker, hey, like they don't want you as like a server right now, like I'm sorry. And like they live off of tips as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Waiters do. And like the fact that they wanted a different one is just, it's stupid to me. And like especially in New Mexico, like why would that happen here? And like it makes no sense because this is like a Spanish speaking, like the Spanish speaking is like the number one language here.
Yeah, exactly. And so, we just kind of made the adjustments, went on with our day, and just finished up the shift. But talking to Enrique after about it, he said even before I had got there, this has happened before, so it's definitely not, something new.
So he's used to it.
Yeah. Well, in a way, he described
It's happened to him, but
yeah, and especially in high school, this happens for younger kids too. He said growing up, especially through high school. I mean, he is bilingual, but he carries a thick accent in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can obviously hear it when he speaks English. And he says a lot of people had made fun of him in the past, and it makes him self-conscious to meet new people or to talk in front of like big crowds because he feels like people are judging him.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that's just like something that is probably he's gonna carry with him for like a super long time.
Yeah, and it all relates back to like even my own mother facing discrimination. Like there's many forms of discrimination here in the United States, and language discrimination is one of the biggest as well, like racism as well, like nationality. It doesn't matter. Like any form of discrimination is not right, and like something must be done for like against it. Like I don't know, because United States was based off of like minority people and people like literally leaving their own countries to come to the United States, like America, like literally like just to go way back, like Christopher Columbus. They're all from a different like country as well, and they all came here, and like it's just it's dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded on how like language discrimination is such a big problem here in the United States when it shouldn't even be a problem. Like it's just like crazy to me, and like how that could just happen. Like I don't know, like it's like a weird thing to understand, especially being from New Mexico. Like how could someone language discriminate you just for speaking like to a coworker that way?
Yeah. And just to like piggyback on what you said, New Mexico actually has the highest percentage of Hispanics in the United States. We have a 48% Hispanic population, I guess you would say, and overall 68% of residents in New Mexico belong to some minority group. So I think for something like that just to happen here is just like, and especially for these minority groups, for it to be such a big population and they're still being oppressed against, there has to be some like, they have to be feeling, for them to have this big of a group and to not be doing anything about it, they have to be feeling oppressed,
Of course.
Like, to not be doing something about it, especially with a group that big.
Exactly. And just like, because people are going home feeling horrible about themselves for not being able to speak English.
Yeah.
Like, who cares if you can't speak English? Like, everyone has to learn it at some point in their lives.
Yeah.
To learn how to read and write English. And, like, not having that as your first language is just, it's really hard for you to learn. And not only, like, to read and write, as like, especially as an HR manager, you're writing all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have to write reports, and then you have to talk to the employees. And, like, being bilingual especially helps because like in hotel businesses, you know how like Hispanic people work there especially, and like it's just when she's able to communicate with them because she speaks Spanish, it makes her job so much easier.
Yeah,
exactly. And like I don't know, something's got to be done with this, and like I really hope that something is done with this.
Yeah, just looking at this in the bigger picture, even though our podcast does target mainly like college students, I feel like this is a message for everyone to hear. It should be a message taught from when people are super, super young to as they're growing up, because obviously discrimination isn't something that we want to keep around. Any type of discrimination isn't something we want to keep around.
Exactly.
So
all right, ladies and gentlemen, so that's all the time that we have today. But today's show was sponsored by the UNM Cultural Center. And remember, discrimination should not be a thing, and like I really hope one day that we can find an answer to this.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.